Nope, you're perfect. Oh yeah, we knew that. Perfect, Master.
Okay. Just make sure it's recording. Do you mind if I sit close to you?
No. Do you want the table?
I think it records now. Maybe are we good?
We're good.
Yes, we can start. Thank you very much all for coming. And the title for our today's gathering is positioning. So that's really the main point. How do we position ourselves in life? And in the process of sharing part of my life with you, then you kind of know what kind of a person I am beyond the reading room and our sessions and our phone sessions. And then you may want to decide if you want to study Shofar with me. And once you do that, then I have to make a decision if I want to invite you. There's a process that goes on with all of us here. To start the whole process, I want us to share something energetically here all together. So anyone can you hear me? Okay. So I want you all to start putting your hands on the side of your head, please. And start to inhale very deeply. So as you inhale, it's like your ears are being pulled in. It's like you're inviting the energies from your own hands inside your head. Maybe it's the heat of your hand, maybe it's something that you're thinking, maybe the healing love force all around. But pull them in and let them join and merge right in the middle, between your hand, in the middle of your brain. So inhale slowly. You actually are doing hands-on healing now. Feel the sides of your head if you want to. Tactile sensation is important. You feel the heat, the warmth, a flow. Some of you already, I can see the hands are warming up. So it's like you're inviting we call them healing frequencies. Let's postulate these are all healing frequencies from the right and the left side of your head inside, and they are going to meet right in the middle and start to create a vortex. The vortex is going to rotate from the right side of your head towards the back of your head, towards the front. Rotating, gaining momentum. So you're inhaling, you're pulling in, and I want you, as you exhale, pour in, please. Pour in. It's like through your own fingertips, through your own palms of the hands, healing energies come. It's all physical. Creating a healthy state of balance between the two lobes of the brain, between the left and the right side of your body. When you inhale, please try to stretch the time of inhalation, stretch it. At some point, as you exhale, the vortex is going to get sucked out into a center of energy above your head. like a flying saucer. Rest assured, all that leaves are the frequencies that do not belong. They are not congruent with your healing processes. So inhale and pull in. Exhale and we give it a little bit of juice. Thank you. Now I want you to close your eyes and roll your eyes. Exaggerate rolling your eyes, like push the eyes all the way up towards the eye socket, the arch. Rotate both eyes from the right side up and down to the left. And if you feel any tenderness, just wait up there. And maybe put your fingers or your hand on the area that there is some kind of a tenderness in the eyeballs. And inhale. Inhaling slowly, rolling your eyes up and around and about, and change the direction, please. Any tenderness, just place a finger or two on the spot and inhale. And it's like you're pulling the energies out, pulling the stuck energies that created the tenderness out. Feel your earlobes, please, and apply pressure on the earlobes. Any tenderness? Again, inhale and pull out. And exhale, pour in. Rub your ear lobes and the section, corresponding section to your earlobes or your head, is your head really. The ears are wonderful holograms of the entire body. Then the earlobe represents the upper part, and the upper part of your ears, if you touch and hold, push, represent the lower sections. It's like an infant. The head of the infant is the earlobe, and the bottom parts and the legs are the top portions. So when you press, it's like you're sending healing signals to different parts of you. It's like you have two babies on your ears. Any tenderness? There must be stuck energy in the corresponding area of your body. So you touch to a tender area, you inhale and you pull in, you pull out. And as you exhale, let it go. You start feeling the sinuses of your cheekbone under the sinuses, around the nose. Touch and feel, and more than gentle, touch, pressure. Any tenderness? Feel the muscles. Any tenderness? Wherever you feel any kind of tenderness, you inhale and you pull. And as you exhale, push it out. Please feel your neck, your throat. Interesting area of the throat is, just touch. Usually the right part of your neck, holds a lot of grief. So just touch and inhale, and it's like you pull out the grief for whatever reason. As you inhale is that you pull energy and you pull out energy. The right side, usually 99% of the time, is full of grief. Please start feeling your chest, right around the clavicle bones. On the left side, above your left breast, is full of stuck energies, all to do with the female aspects of you, female friends and acquaintances, family members. So as you touch, and touch more than gently, as you touch, blood pressure is of energies coming, pull them up. Touch, however you touch, left, right, doesn't matter. Just, you pull them out, and if you want, you actually can do this. Pull it up. Pull towards up so you don't blow at each other. The stuck energies, female stuck energies, yours, man, male, female, doesn't matter, is the section for very female stuck energies. Any tenderness, then stay there a little bit longer. Touch the area under your right clavicle bone. Touch and push and insist. It's all to do with the stuck energies, to do with the male aspect of you, male family members, friends and acquaintances. Under the right clavicle bone, and push a little bit more than usual. Just push. Push and inhale and pull it up. Pull it up. And if you want, let it go. You can use both hands. With one hand you pull in. With one hand you pour in. Any tenderness, then do more. Find your sternum and tap. More than gentle. Good. It's like a horse galloping. To the point that you feel a little bit uncomfortable. So the area under the sternum is the thymus gland. Such an important gland in maintaining the integrity of your immune system. It produces the famous white cell, commonly known as the T cell. This simple action activates the T cells. T cell is the cell that the AIDS virus, for example, finds its way in and acts like a Trojan horse. Anytime you entertain any disharmony, any atrophy, the heart chakra falls like an elephant trunk, and you become susceptible to all sorts of bugs. You may have a wonderful immune system, but as soon as you entertain any kind of grief, disharmony, pain, emotional, especially emotional pain, the heart chakra falls like an elephant trunk. What is a chakra? Chakra is an Indian word. It means a wheel that rotates. But in fact, it's like a small, perfectly shaped tornado. The heart chakra here is right under the thymus gland. And be careful, not too much hitting. Give it a rest. All right. So now I want you to actually feed your heart. Maybe you want to close your eyes, maybe you don't, but just feed your heart. Touch and feed. In Shafa, we call major organs major collective consciousnesses. So heart is a wonderful major she, collective consciousness. And she has a lot to talk about. Inhale slowly, expand the chest, the diaphragm. Give your precious thoughts more room. And in Shafa, you say, be quiet. Bless you. So expand the chest, breathe. Give your heart more room. Actually talk to your heart in whatever language you want, Farsi, English, Spanish, French. And and tap on the heart very gently. Unlike the tapping you've done on your sternum, very gently. And usually we sing to our hearts, but you don't have to. Silently say thank you, thank you, thank you to the heart. And say, hello, radiant one, hello, dear one, how are you doing? Actually speak to your heart in words. And then say, thank you, as you graciously tapping. Thank you for responding to every and all of my E- motions, like E-male, like ether, emotion. Thank you for working day and night relentlessly. Won't you, dear one, rest and slow down, slow down, slow down. Close your eyes and see what you said. Did you really mean it? She is a wonderful major collective consciousness, and her central nervous system is totally independent of the brain. Go figure. Totally independent of the brain. We've seen people in coma for 30, 40 years, their life, because the heart is doing what she's supposed to do. So the area in here has two major predispositions, love and hurt. We want it to be all healing light. So think light, knowing that anything you think, it actually comes to your heart. Anything you think. Anything. All the energies that come into the wholesome you, into the collective being of you, it actually has to go through the heart first. It's just the way we are designed. Any action, any thought, anything you think goes there first. So when you think of, let's say, the reflection of the sun, it goes there. Before you can process, before you can imagine, as soon as I tell you to think of the golden healing frequencies of the sun, you have it there. That's the intention. As soon as you say it, it comes there. Think of your favorite smell of freshness. Before you can smell it, it goes to your heart first. That's how we are designed. Any and all frequencies that find their way into the wholesome, they have to go through the heart. They go through a process of initiation. They acquire your heavenly barcode, your energy signature, your impression, and that's how the universe knows it's you. Any action, the universe knows it's you. It has your barcode. And if it's a loving thought, then it's blazed with your healing light and love. Again, the universe knows. That's how the laws of karma work, you see. That's how the laws of karma work. Anything you think goes to the heart, comes out, broadcasted, it's from me. It's from me. The universe knows. Continue touching and bring your attention, please, to your spleen under your left breast. If you want, place the fingers like this on the spleen and tap on your fingers. I'm trying to prevent injuries. Or just tap. Not as hard as you tap on your chest. Again, these two work pretty nicely together, maintaining the integrity of your immune system, the thymus gland and the spleen together. Touch your stomach, please. Find the solar plexus, where the rib cages come together. This is my teaching partner. Introduce who's better you. So right here, where the rib cages come together. Touch and push. And rotate your hand from the right side up and down. Is the center of will. Is the center of will and willpower. Touch tenderness. You're not that willing. Inhale, please. If there is any tenderness, just pull it out and give it to the universe. The universe knows what to do. Inhale slowly, maybe with both hands. Touch and feel your liver under your right breast. Find the soft tissues and just touch, but gently. You know, it's like very gently. Like you're holding a gel with very sensitive skin. Just hold nice and like push it back and forth. And you know what? Think Persian blue. It really helps. As you touch gently, think Persian blue. Soft, cozy, comfy, fluffy, like the wings of your angels, holding you kind. And from time to time, giving you in that area an angelic squeeze, helping some of the stuck energies to surface. The area is the major storage area for, thank you, anger, frustration, resentment. So you're touching it and you are allowing it to surface. Please agree with me that you are free from having any curiosity whatsoever. To whom does the energy belong? To whom be connected, anchored? Any resentment surfaces, you are free from having any interest whatsoever. Why there is resentment there? To whom we are anchored? To what setting? To what condition? Be free, just receive and take that out. So if you've noticed so far, by the virtue of receiving, we are letting go. You see how it works? By the virtue of receiving, we are letting go. So receive. Receive the abundance of healing light, and because you position your hands in different areas, then the universe knows what you want, what area you want to be addressed. Or you just think it. For now, we use our hands. We make it a hands-on process for everybody. So your hands-on healing. Touch and hold, very important area. The major storage area for easy emotions or frequencies of wrath, resentment, anger, frustration. You're late 30-second coming here, nobody notices, you do. You resent it, get sucked into here. So just let it out, let it out. Whether you're right, whether you were right or wrong, just let it out. Receive and give it to the universe. So technically when we are doing all this, is like preventative medicine really. You don't have to go to see healers or doctors, okay? You just keep on touching, touch your gut. Find your navels if you can, I dare you. And if anyone wants to laugh, you're welcome to. Find your navel. The cells in and around your navel are exact same cells as the cells in your brain. Did you know that? The only difference between the brain cells in your navel and the brain cell up here is that the ones down here have not evolved to self-doubt. They have not evolved to self-doubt, but they can be extremely accurate, giving meaning to the expression gut feeling. If there is an F. If we let go of the stuck energies between the navel and the pubic bone, the area in here is infested with fear, just under the back. Is infested with fear and fright, and their agents. Who are the agents? What do you mean agents? Concerns. Any concern at all is an agent of fear, regardless of how logical, how intuitive, is an agent of fear. And it gets sucked into the area between the navel and the pubic bone. So touch and feel and receive. Your hands are warming up, you feel a flow. The magic sentence in Shafa, anytime we experience something nice, it could be just a tiny little bit of very seemingly nothing, we say, thank you, please continue. Whom are you thanking? The universe. The universe is just like a person. It acts like a person. It gets easily encouraged and it gets easily discouraged. So if something good comes and you receive it and you say, like you're receiving a gift and you're unwrapping the gift and say, oh, thank you, how did you know? Wow, this is exactly what I wanted, and the universe is thinking of your next gift. And you've seen, you give a gift to somebody and they say, oh, thank you, you shouldn't, and you're thinking I shouldn't. It's exactly the same way. That's how the universe behaves. That's how they, so you must be thankful. Inhale, please. Raise the muscles of the abdomen as you inhale. I'd like very much, if you take nothing today from our gathering here, take this with you. I really would like you to adopt this kind of breathing. It just increases your life force, your niju. It's the best exercise for your internal organs. And one more thing, if you move down to the area about 3.5 inches below your navel, in Bruce Bay is probably 1.5 inches, but in you, 3.5 inches below your navel. There is a point that is commonly known as the hara point, H-A-R-A, hara point. You've seen Japanese, to maintain their honor, sometimes they commit harakiri. They insert the dagger there, thinking their spirit is going to leave unstained. Their honor is safe. From there, I see a cord. So, I'm talking about that cord. There is a cord that is physical. Why? Because it's made of light. It's white, silver white. It is transparent, actually. Accomplished clairvoyants have been seeing the cord for the past thousands of years. So it's not something new. I haven't discovered it. The cord is white, silver white, transparent, and one can see a flow coming through the cord. Sometimes it rotates from your right side up and down to the left. Very fast moving particles come actually here. And sometimes like waves upon waves of healing that come here. Now, these healing frequencies are on their maiden journey. Those of you who haven't heard about the cord, today is the holy May 12th for you. Because the inflows of healing illness fresh from the oven of creation, as somewhat depicted here, comes here and not here. In here you process them. And before you're able to process them in here, it has to go through here. It's just the mechanic of things, It's the anatomy, if you will. So the inflows of healing illness fresh from the oven of creation enters here and not here. But how do we understand? How do we fathom? How do we realize, to materialize what comes here? You raise your vibrations. So how do we raise our vibration? Like what we're doing now, for example. And add to it maybe the whiff of the golden healing frequencies of the sun. Let's do it. And raise the muscles of the abdomen. I really would like you to raise the muscles of the abdomen. You may have to exaggerate. I want it to be your second nature. You're going to get so much out of this as far as your physical health, as far as ahas, cognitions, sudden realizations. They come and you know. Otherwise, they come like they have been for as long as you've lived, but you don't know. Sometimes you know. So inhale slowly and raise the muscles of the abdomen. And in this way, you're maintaining the integrity of your only physical highway to heavens that can be seen. Is your only physical highway to heavens that can be seen. Non-verbal, you don't have to utter 10,000 sacred zikr or mantras, 3 a.m. to connect. You're connected already. No school of mind, no prophet can claim that because of your belief system to them you are connected. It's a fallacy. You are connected 24/7. You're always connected. But you start to reap the benefits to get the benefits if you pay attention to this kind of reading. The holy healing information pertinent to all your healing processes, all of them, are coming right now. You have the answers now, inside you. The answer is right inside. You clean up the heart region, step up. You know, you start to think, let's say, of the smell of freshness, your favorite, step up. Your vibration starts to rise, and then you have ahas and cognitions. For those of you who already have been in healing grounds and you might have been seeing auras even, it appears like a blob of washed out green. You know? This is like a nebula or a cloud, washed out green. And just like the old Polaroid pictures, give it a minute or two. Colors and definition comes. In fact, you have a three-dimensional answer to your question. So think of the code of connection, think of breathing this way, and please breathe this way all the time, especially when you go to sleep. So at night, how do we do that? We ask our pillow to remind us of this conscious breathing. Every night, ask your pillow or your bed to remind you of this kind of breath. Okay? Now feel your hips, please. Feeling your hips. Those of you who can reach your sacrum, just find the triangle here. And push on the edge of the bone and the soft tissues. Tenderness, you know what to do. More tenderness, you know, just walk up. Walk up. Find the golden triangle. Touch and hold and take it in. This area here is the major storage area for insecurities, all sorts of insecurities. All sorts of insecurities. As babies, it's like we lived in the land of giants. So lots of insecurities to do with size. You store them here. The concept of body training, discovery of genitals, sexuality, shame, guilt, withhold, stored here. All the insecurities with any kind of sexuality, with the bank account, anything comes here. The concept of time. Children are alienated to the linear timing. So to them, it's like space-time continuum. You may say, Jack, we have only 5 minutes out the door. And to them, it's like, who? No concept whatsoever. None. They obey, they comply, they mimic the grown-ups. No concept. Lots of insecurity with time, especially as we start to age. And finances, camouflage, clothes in here. All of the insecurities go here. And one major thing about this area is that it's full of bone marrows. It's full of stem cells, right? So as we age and the insecurities start to build up on top of each other, then the bone marrow can do what the bone marrow does. As the bone marrow goes through its miraculous transformation, turning into white cells, red cells, platelets, they are very insecure. Therefore, we have a very insecure immune system. A very insecure system is like a very insecure person. It's not a bad system, it's not a bad person. But it's tired. It can't really do what it normally, almost effortlessly would have done. So therefore, we have all sorts of diseases, disharmonies, colon cancer, colon fibromyalgia, lupus, migraine headache, arthritis. All the diseases that are almost deemed incurable in the Western medicine. Only if we do this, if you sit there. Just pulling these insecurities out. Maybe you're living a very good life, you're happy, but the area is full of insecurities anyways. Just pull them out. Daily activities. Pull them out. Full of bone marrows, stem cells. They are glazed with insecurities, folks. And of course, as we age, I know there are a lot of factors, but this is the main factor for all physical diseases. The main factor, insecurity. And it's right here, in the sacrum area. Now see if you can reach your kidneys. Kidneys are a lot higher than one would think. Is that you place your finger on the hip and you turn it. It's a lot higher than the see if you can reach. If you don't, your intention is good enough. But the intention, just intending to reach the kidneys. Kidneys in any alternative medicine are very important, of course. But they are also the major storage area for what?
Fear.
Personal fear. Personal. As soon as they get triggered, it's like your knees give. We can't function, we can't think. So this area is all sorts of fears in the front. 80% of these fears in the front have nothing to do with it. They are the fear of your loved ones, friends and acquaintances, world news, what have you. But in here, it's all yours. All yours. So, just to make sense of it and feel like you're doing something, you may have to roll two socks and put it in here and lie down against it, or make fists and put these knuckles against and lean against the chair. It's funny, once you hit the area, it's like all the energy leaks stop. Just about everybody here was leaking energy through the kidneys. And I can't, columns of leaks, and this actually just puts a damper on it. It just stops the leaks. Anyone feels good doing that? Mm-hmm. It really feels good. You actually stop the leakage. And if you're engaged in daily activities that are really stressful, you're leaking all the time. You keep on leaking all the time, there's got to be a time that you come up with very horrendous disease. Einstein, as well as 10 million other sages, said you can't do the same thing and expect a different result. Okay? Now I want you to touch the thighs. Touch the thighs. Touch and hold and begin. The area, I'm sorry, Lucy doesn't have knees. So I have to guess where the thighs are. Touch and feel it again. The fear right from here ripples down. It's very interesting. So you're sitting innocently, maybe, having a fear or something, and you're touching, saying, did I lock the door? How much do I have in the bank? These thoughts actually do come. They really do come. So touch and inhale, as usual. Hold in. And dig in. The more you dig in, the more fear and fresh surfaces. It's okay. We're all in it together. Just hold it out. Release. Again, you are free from having any curiosity to see what these energies are, to whom they belong, to what settings and conditions they are attached. And you could do the same thing now with the hamstring. Touch and hold and push. What are you releasing? Mainly insecurities, right? Because it ripples down. Touch your knees and kneecaps. If you are moving pretty readily, easily, then you have good knees. If they don't, you don't have good knees. But touch and hold and pull. Some of these energies are what? Anyone can guess? Personal fear. Remember I said once the personal fear gets triggered here, your knees give. There actually is a lot of fear in the knee area. It's funny. Touch your shins, and especially the muscles around the shins. Is it tender or is it very painful? It always is tender. Almost always is tender. It's almost always is painful. It really stocks the energies. It prevents a lot of the minor centers of energies to get activated. But this simple action, couple it with inhalation, is that you're releasing. And there is a release. It's like you're no longer frowning. and the calves. And I guess I'm gonna spare you of touching the feet at this point. Maybe you want to touch our face again. I'm sorry. Oh, this is again just like the palm of your hand or your ears, right? So any area is tender, then the corresponding area is, there's some energy block. So the left foot, if you look at the left foot, as your hologram, you touch in the middle, it's like you're touching the middle. Right? And the toes, when you touch your toes, you actually, it's like you're doing acupuncture, acupressure on your head. And the arch of your feet towards the bottom of the arch is where the, this area is where the spine is. So you touch and you're releasing stuff. So simple act of touching and being with your body, first of all, is very grounding. Also very pleasurable. It's really nice to do that. You feel live. Okay. So in Shafa, basically, what probably makes it, on the surface at least, very different than other healing modalities is that it's very structured. In the fact that we definitely work on the abdominal area, the area between the navel and the pubic bone. We always work on that area, regardless of why you come. We work on the sacrum, regardless of why you come. We work on the kidneys and the adrenal glands, regardless of why you come. We work on the, we couldn't touch the ancient brain, but we definitely work on the ancient brain or the limbic brain. So inside the limbic brain, at the base of the nose, I have the brain left there. There is inside the limbic brain, there is hypothalamus gland and the pituitary gland. So as soon as, for example, I put my hand on somebody's head, I am working on the pituitary gland at the base of the brain. And the pituitary gland is in charge of 6 major organs. So just the fact that you put your hand here and you start to breathe in deeply and receive and pull in with the intention to pull it in, like this, inside the base of the brain, where the limbic brain is. It's like not only you're relaxing your head and your nervous system and all that, but you also are working on 6 major organs. Simple, huh? The magic word is reds. In Shafa, we use reds very often. Like the color red. Red stands, R stands for repetition, E stands for enthusiasm, D means this. So you keep on doing it. You keep on doing it, and magic is going to be created. The secret is in this. So regardless of why anyone comes here, for headache or hemorrhoid, for anything, we definitely work on these areas with an eye in the relationship between these areas and the desire. Always. That's what makes Shafa very different. Is that right? Is that right? Okay. So technically, by doing this, not only you maintain yourself, you start to have a better mood, your immune system functions better, but at the same time, you won't get sick. Whether you use Shafa for self-healing or taking it a step further, start to help others, it's really, really workable. Call it anything you want. But the main difference, at least on the surface, is the discipline of working on these areas, because we know how important they are. So no shortcuts. We were training somebody and the person said, I'm ready, and I said, okay, show us what you can do. And she was working, she was going here, and then I said, why are you doing this? I was guided. I said, really? You fail. You have to have a structure. Within that structure, you can be extremely, extremely creative. We all are very different. Very different. We look different. But, look at this. Very, very different. Okay, the title today is really positioning. And I'm open to giving you maybe 5 minutes break if you all want to. If not, we can. Okay. So the title today is positioning. Technically, wherever you position yourself, like you position yourself in this room, that's all you can breathe in, that's all you can breathe out. Nothing more, nothing less. So if you go to a swimming pool, what happens? You get wet. But egotistically, we say, I can stay in the swimming pool and be dry. So really, good luck, I'm going to be your student. It's not going to happen. You know. So technically, if you're sad and you continue analyzing the sadness while you're sad, then there is more sadness. You're ruined. It just increases in size and significance. Plus, you tap in 7, probably billion other people who are sad or angry. So each time you entertain an emotion, it's not just yours. It could be a whole lot of other people that are going through a whole lot of difficulties. And it's disproportional. It's like, you know, I got upset because the guy cut me off on the highway. Why am I raging? We call it road rage. Because it may not be yours. Part of it is yours, but you tap into it and all of a sudden you pull it in. So it's very important to know this, that wherever you are, that's where you are. Only ego says, I'm here, but I cannot be here. But I'm here, and it's like, it doesn't work. In any you know, physical condition, emotional condition, you are where you are. You want to create a shift, you have to step aside. It doesn't work any other way. I've worked with a lot of great healers, master healers, grandmaster healers, in this realm, in other realms. It just doesn't work. So if you go and do some work and come back to your old setting, what happens? You're going to repeat the same thing again and again. You're coming back to your own swimming pool. It's going to be the same thing. What do you expect? So it's like I've gone to all these healers, and I've gone to Freud himself, and you know, nothing works. The basic information is missing though. You know, you could go anywhere, you come back to the pool, you get wet. What do you expect? So a lot of times people intuitively actually choose a different accommodation. They actually leave their place of residence. Or someone, when someone is really going through grief, lost a loved one, they go for a vacation. There is a whole lot of change right there. You know, it's like still grieving, but there's a lot of shifts. It's like things are kind of growing for the individual to, you know, continue with life in an amicable, happy way. So in Shafa, we always acknowledge feelings, always. You know, someone is sad, someone is angry, we acknowledge. But if I'm angry and I acknowledge that I'm angry, it doesn't make me right. Think about it. Any feeling you have, we acknowledge, it doesn't make you right. But we are trained to think we're right. And Mr. Ego comes in and reinforces the whole thing. We must be right, otherwise why am I feeling this way? I must be right. And because I'm right, then there is judgment, there is sense of entitlement, and it never ends. The game becomes even more interesting. Very interesting. So again, another golden rule in Shafa. We always acknowledge emotions. We are not in denial. You know, we are not sweeping it under the carpet. We actually know what it is. In fact, as Shafa healers, we must pay attention to all this. You know, if there's a cancerous tumor, and I just say Hare Krishna, love, 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 try not to see it, then what am I healing? You must see what's wrong. Or what are you healing? We see what is wrong, but we step aside from it. There are two different things.
Sorry, did you see?
You know, anytime there is a disharmony, you see what is, and you step aside and you create a reality opposite to what was, or what is. You keep on looking at it and looking at it till it actually becomes tangible. Like there is a feel to it, you may not be able to see it, but my hand is tingling. You know, I know I have it, so I bring it back and I superimpose on the old, on the process that needs healing. And I keep on looking at it now. I'm giving this area a template, and the area has to heal. It's a given. Doing a few things, methodically, with discipline, with reps, repetition, enthusiasm, discipline, healing comes. Okay, again, the title I'm going to repeat is Positioning, and I think when in 1989, I was at the UCSF hospital, and it was my birthday, I think, or around it. But to make things even more interesting, I'm going to say it was my birthday. August 25, I'm in the hospital, and I'm burned because of the chemo. Third-degree burns all over. And also on the inside. I could not wink, I could not breathe right, I could not talk, I could not see. The vision would shift all the time. And you know, you're suffering like that, and it's like, there's nothing you could do. You can't even die. You're there. You want to die, but how could you? You know, they don't let you. And lots of machineries were attached. You know, beep, 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 beep. Different concentration, different drops per minute, and so forth. You know. And after a while, these sounds are boom, boom, boom. It's like someone hammering you all over. You know, it's really tough and painful. You don't know what to do with it. You know. And I really thought either I'm going to die or I'm going to stop this sound. It wasn't just in my head. It would reverberate throughout my body. And all of a sudden, you know, I couldn't, as I said, I couldn't even talk. I screamed from here. And I said, I want the noise to stop now, replace it with something else. And boom. It was all light. It was the best firework I have ever seen. It was the best 4th of July. Every sound turned into different kind of light. You know, how you listen to music on a computer, all these flashes come, just like that. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't feel it. And right there, I learned we can use our senses interchangeably. That's the we actually can use our senses interchangeably. Just know that. As soon as you know that, you don't have to study with me 10 years to do it. You could do it maybe now. But the basic information is needed. And then, of course, it's your willingness to put it into use. The basic information is needed. So in your minds, you know, maybe you accept, maybe you don't accept what I'm saying. I really don't want you to believe me. Anytime anyone comes and says, I believe you, I get this cold rush of something in my spine. I know I'm in for a, you know, rough ride. I don't want people to believe me. Your beliefs change all the time. You believe in Roosevelt today, tomorrow in me, the next. I want you to know. And the only way for you to know is to experience it yourself. But, you know, if I'm telling you something to do, you know, as Shafa student, and the next day I ask you, have you done it? If you haven't done it, that's your process. I respect that too. But the result is not going to be the way you expect. Or from what you heard, you know, people said, what I've done. So in fact, we can't and we don't want to force maturity. There is maturity in every process. I'm not implying anyone is immature, but there is maturity in everything. Okay. So the first lesson for me in the, you know, the first major lesson that I can bring forth from the time in the hospital was, okay, and it wasn't the morphine. I wasn't actually using the morphine. I had a nurse, very lovely nurse. At the time, I think I was 37, 38, and the nurse was probably 23, 24. She was very lovely, very caring. She would come, she would wash her hands, and then she would wipe, you know, the sweat out of my forehead, and I'm looking at her, okay. And then she said, use the morphine. Use the morphine. You know, she would come day in, day out, and said, use the morphine. One day she came, and I was suffering, and she said, you know, she had a lot of syringes and all that. She just dropped everything. goddamn you, I told you, use the goddamn morphine. I never thought I'd be pushing drugs here. Use the goddamn morphine. You know, she forcefully did that, and I pressed, you know, the button, and all of a sudden, almost instant, I was smiling, you know, it was nice. And she started to become very friendly with me and my wife, and she was, it seemed like she's paying more attention to me, or that was her skill. It seemed like that. There was no improper feeding, so to speak, if there is such thing. And she was just careful, and she was very caring, rather, not careful, caring, very caring. So a month later, all of a sudden, she's not there. And I'm asking, Patty, what happened to her? Well, she's in vacation to Hawaii, okay? Patty, what happened to her? She actually is getting married. Really? She's getting married? Yeah, okay. And a week later, what happened? Why is she not coming? Well, you know, they decided to move, so she no longer is going to work. Really? Why didn't she come and say goodbye? What happened? And it wasn't until, I think, 8 years ago that I found she died 2 doors from me. She acquired leukemia. 2 doors down. Was the lesson in it? She actually contracted leukemia. And, you know, I think I had a share in that. So, it makes me very sad. The lesson is that, you know, we exchange energy. It's very real. As we are sitting, is not really the close proximity. It's how I feel about you, how I feel about you, and how you feel about it. Then we exchange energies. You know, then everything is contagious. The cancer is contagious. Everything is contagious. Leukemia is contagious. Lupus is contagious. I've seen so many incidences that the wife or the husband gets MS and starts to be crippled. And shortly thereafter, the husband and wife has MS. It's like, how does that work? What are the possibilities here? How is this possible, really? And how many times there are just laws of chance and accidents for these things to happen? We do exchange energy. It's a constant dance of sharing and giving energies and receiving the energies. So what do we do as Shifa healers? I mean, if that's the case, I would have died in one week. You know, there is a cancerous tumor. Let's consider his nose a cancerous tumor, and I put my hand in and I'm breathing, and I see it's coming into me. I see the energy is coming to me. If I fear, it's going to stay. See, if I haven't dealt with these areas of fear, and I'm working, and it's, ooh, cancer is coming into me, it's going to stay. Now, I may not get cancer, I definitely get some kind of a pain and ache, minimal. Minimally, I get some pain and ache. You know, there are people who go through radiations, and again, probably up to 10 years ago, I didn't see people who go through chemo and radiation, but I've changed that. So, when I touch, I actually can remove the excess radiation. I get excruciating pain in my hand. I usually do it like that. Now, radiation, they say if you get radiation, you know, don't associate with other people right away and all that. People come right away and they remove it. And I get the pain. And I let it go. But you gotta have these basic information. You know, somebody is sad, you're trying to be with that person, people will live and breathe. So in Shifa, we teach you techniques to actually protect yourself from that. It starts first thing in the morning. Everything starts first thing in the morning. So first thing in the morning, myself and all the Shifa students, 12 which are sitting here, the first thing that we do, we actually do that. There is a technique or a number of techniques that we do that. But it all starts even before you're able to swallow or do this or stretch. You actually say, I am a spiritual being, and I'm going to have a wonderful human experience. So you set yourself up, you position yourself for the day. Then you start the process. Speaking of positioning, thank you. Speaking of positioning, it's very important for you to position yourself now, then decide if you want to be a healer or not. Totally. Because there are going to be signs. It's like as soon as you position yourself to be in an environment of what you want, arrows of creation, and it can be seen. You know, once you start to raise your vibrations, your clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient abilities just come. You know, it's not reserved for a few people. You know, it's not esoteric at all. Unlike what people say, they made the field of spirituality so complicated. It's not. It's not. You just have to position yourself, and then depending on your dedication, depending on your vibrations, then more things come. It's like different arrows, you know, come from all directions. And they carry the germs of subtle creation of form. Then we have a subtle form. Then we keep on looking at the form. It's going to what? Be more significant. And then sometimes it actually manifests in front of our very eyes. It actually does. That's how you position yourself.